Hello and welcome to the HR Like a Boss podcast. I'm your host, John Bernatovich. I have embarked on a journey to get to know amazingly awesome HR and business professionals with the hope to find out what it takes to do HR like a boss. If you enjoy the show, please make sure that you subscribe and hit that 5-star rating. Welcome back to another episode of the HR Like a Boss podcast. I'm your host, John Bernatovich. So excited to be joined by Amanda McCullouch. Amanda was referred to me by a colleague inside of our firm who just raved about her, told me you have to meet Amanda. She's amazing and incredible at what she does. So Amanda, welcome to the HR Like a Boss podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Tell me a little bit about this idea of being authentic, this thing of who you are. You already started that off in the beginning of the show, just sharing your personal story, but what does it mean to you to be authentic in your leadership capacity?
Yeah, for me, it really means being who you are. When I first got into the real world of work out of college, there was this concept of like you leave your personal self at the door and you're a different person when you come into work. And I just don't believe that that's the right way to approach showing up at work every day. I believe that who I am as a human being is what makes me really great as an HR professional and as an employee for an organization. It is what I think has launched me to where I am in my career, and really is the reason why I am where I am today. I'm not a robot, and I don't expect our employees to be robots. And I don't think anyone should expect people to be robots when they come to work. We are human beings who have feelings and emotions. And a lot of times those feelings and emotions make us really great caregivers, whether it's being an HR caregiver, right? My job's to take care of our employees, or whether it's, a caregiver at the bedside in a healthcare environment, or a recruiter who is able to make a connection with a potential candidate as a human being, right? That's how you create culture. You don't come to work every day to be a robot and just go through the motions and check the boxes, right? We expect our employees to come to work and want to be here and enjoy the relationships that they have with their coworkers and have relationships that are strong enough that they can lean on each other and say, I don't know how to do this, or I don't know the answer to this. Can you help me? And feel comfortable in that. And so being authentic for me is really about just showing up to work every day as me. You're absolutely right when you mentioned, it's why during my intro, I mentioned that I'm a mom and a wife, because I'm a better vice president of human resources because of what I've experienced in the workplace, but also at home. And I can empathize and sympathize with the people who come to us and say, I'm having a hard time and I need help. Right. And helping someone in the workplace sometimes means that you have to understand where they're coming from outside of work. So I think, to set the example and to just help employees feel comfortable being themselves, you have to be authentic yourself. You have to be humble. You have to be willing to admit when you make mistakes. And there are a lot of times where I'm in front of people and they ask me a question and I have to say that, but I'm going to find out for you. And I would much rather admit that I don't know than give them a wrong answer. So I think being authentic is just really just being truly who you are every day and not feeling like you have to drop some bags at the door when you walk into work every day and then pick them back up when you walk out.
And so I'm wondering, like, how have you gotten to the point where you're able to care so much, but also do your job as an HR professional, which sometimes requires you to make tough decisions, lay people off, put them on performance plans, do that tough stuff that maybe doesn't feel as great when you have that caring passion for people?
Yeah. Those items never feel good. It's definitely, everybody has the part of their job that they say they would like to just kind of set aside and never have to do again. And all the items you mentioned are 100% it for me. But I would say, caring is an important component. But I want to make a note in reference back to being authentic. You have to care authentically. And so if it's fake, people will sense it and they will see it and they will feel it, and you're going to ruin your credibility, right? So if you don't care, you have to just not say you care, because people are going to see it. But, for me, I think through the progression of my career, it has become very evident as I've learned along the way that if your employees don't feel cared for, exactly what you said, they're going to walk away, they're going to leave. And we have to want to do what's right for them while also doing what's right for the organization. And so sometimes that is the tough decisions of, maybe we need to do a layoff or restructure or redesign. And the conversation I have with leaders at the table when we're making those tough decisions is, okay, so let's talk about the people impact. And if we are saying that the decision is the right one, even with a potentially negative people impact, then what are we doing to take care of the people as we communicate the decision and move forward with whatever impact that has? And how do we do it with grace? And how do we do it with kindness? And we need to explain the why, because it may be a tough decision, but if you're just explaining the why to folks, it's much easier for them to understand where you're coming from and to say, you know what, not a fun decision, not a good decision, not a decision I'd want to have to make. And I understand why the decision was made.
How would you describe someone that does HR like a boss?
Yeah. I think it starts with setting the example, right? As I think within HR, organizations look to us to sort of be the example. It goes to things we've talked about: being authentic, caring about the people that you're responsible for within your organization, and knowing your stuff is a big one. Know your stuff. I had a really great leader who had some key expectations of leadership, and my favorite one was knowing your stuff. And what I love about knowing your stuff is, like I said before, you don't have to know everything, but you got to know your resources and you got to know where to turn to get the information. And that's what knowing your stuff is all about. It doesn't mean you're a content expert on everything. It just means you know where to go to get the information. So know your stuff, set the example, be authentic, care, and then be passionate. If you are not passionate about this work, it's probably not the right place for you. I'm sure there's a really great place for you, but maybe not within HR. You gotta be passionate about it. You have to love coming to work every day and getting up and knowing that the work you're doing is directly or indirectly impacting not only the employees within your organization, but the customers. And that's really where I get jazzed, is knowing that when I can take care of our employees, when I can do right by them, I know that then it directly turns around and impacts the experience that our patients have. And so I know that means that they're going to get safe care, they're going to get great care, and they're going to just love the experience they have. So you have to have passion around it.
Hopefully you enjoyed your time. I really appreciate you being on the show.
I had a great time. Thank you so much for the invite and the opportunity.
Thanks for checking out the HR Like a Boss podcast. If it resonates with you, please leave a rating and review, or better yet, subscribe and share with a friend. Until next time, let's continue to aspire to do amazingly awesome HR.